Hi, I'm Michael Josh with Rappler.com, and this is a quick hands-on with the Samsung Galaxy S5. This is the start screen of the S5, and as you can see, the user interface looks a little bit different, although it's pretty much the same TouchWiz that all of you are familiar with. But Samsung has put in a few changes with this new version, and let me run through some of them by you today. First things first, if you swipe from the home screen to the right, it will bring out the My Magazine interface. Now, the My Magazine interface is reminiscent of the magazine UX that Samsung put on its line of Pro tablets, which it released at CES back in January. My Magazine is a mobile version of that interface. It gives you updates, sports updates, and you can also connect, for example, your Twitter account as you see over here, and get tweets that way. Now, to customize what appears on My Magazine, you can go ahead and click on Settings. When you're done with your selections, you can go ahead and click the back button, and all those changes will be reflected accordingly. So that's My Magazine. It's reminiscent of the Google Now pane on the Nexus 5 smartphone. One key feature of the S5 is its fingerprint scanner. Similar to the iPhone 5S, Samsung has built in that functionality. And let me show you how to set that up. Go into Settings, and as you can see, there's an option called Fingerprint Scanner over here. Now, what Fingerprint Scanner does, it allows you to lock and unlock your screen. It allows you to verify your Samsung account, and it also allows you to make or verify payments on PayPal. But right now, what I want to show you is how to set up a new account. So I'm going to go ahead and swipe my finger. As you can see, I've already registered. It says I can register up to 3 fingerprints, and I've already registered 2. So let me go ahead and do one more. Maybe this time register my index finger. So as you can see, it wants me to swipe my finger across the base of the pad about 8 times. So let me go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. Now it will require you to swipe in the center. So I'm going to make sure that I do that properly. And 8. So once it's read your finger 8 times, it does keep a sample of that. And next time you turn off your phone and turn it on again, you can use that finger to unlock your phone. Now, speaking of fingerprints, another feature that you can turn on and off using your fingerprint is a feature called Private Mode. If you go into Settings, there's an icon over here, a yellow icon called Private Mode. Now, when we go in, you can basically turn it on, and I've already turned that on, so I will need to swipe my finger to access this mode. Now, there are certain different unlock methods, so I'm going to go in. It will ask me to type in a password, so let me go ahead and type that in for you. Now, once you've typed it in, you can click Continue, and as you can see, there are 4 different ways to unlock or turn on and off Private Mode, and you can go over here and turn on fingerprint. So that's our method of choice. Now, what Private Mode does, and I'll make sure it's turned on, is it allows you to hide certain files, mostly the photos and videos or certain documents. You can't hide emails or text messages or apps even. But say I want to hide these 2 photos so that people playing around with my phone won't be able to see them. I can go ahead and select them by tapping and holding on them and clicking on the Settings menu over here. And as you can see over here, there's a Move to Private feature or selection. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. Now it's going to move those 2 photos to private. As you can see, unlike these other photos and screenshots I have on my phone at the moment, these ones have an unlock or like a padlock icon over them. So that means those are on private mode there. Now, right now, if I go ahead, there's a shortcut for private mode. I've set it up. So if I turn off private mode and go into gallery again, those photos are completely hidden. You can't see them anywhere. Now, if I go ahead and turn private mode on again using a swipe of my fingerprint, swipe faster, there you go, you'll see that those images return to my gallery. Another new feature that Samsung is touting is called Download Booster. Now you go into settings and you click on this icon over here to turn it on. Now basically what Download Booster does is that if, for example, you're downloading a file over 30 MB, you can actually pair your Wi-Fi connection and your LTE connection and use those two connections together to increase the speed of your downloads. Now this will only work if one connection is less than 4 times faster than your other connection. Once the Wi-Fi, for example, is 4 times faster than LTE, then Download Booster won't work. When Samsung introduced the S4 last year, they bundled an app called S Health. Now with the S5, they've updated the S Health app to include a couple of new features. Aside from the pedometer feature, they have now exercise and heart rate. Let me skip heart rate for a while and dive into exercise. There are certain different types of exercise that it accepts. For example, if I'm going for a nice walk, I can click walking. I can go ahead and set a workout goal if I wanted to based on my weight and distance or time that I wanted to be able to set as a goal. And I could also select music. Unfortunately, I don't really have a lot of songs in this device at the moment, but let's pretend I have a playlist for walking. And then I would go ahead and click start. Now, it would be best if I had GPS on so that it could track my walk or run. But let's just keep that off for now. And say I'm walking, it will calculate my distance and my duration, and of course play the music that I selected. So let's go ahead and just stop that and stop that. Now once you're done, if I had GPS turned on and if I did indeed go for a walk, then that GPS data would reflect here, be plotted on a map, and of course I'd have all the different stats of my run, and I can go ahead and add a photo just to commemorate that run if it was a great run for me. In 2014, Samsung is really pushing its fitness options across its devices, and on the S5 it's included a heart rate monitor which you can use with the S Health app. Now what it wants you to do is put your finger on a sensor underneath the camera, so I already have my finger in place. And there you have it. That's my current heart rate. I think I'm a little bit nervous while taping this video. This is the camera app of the S5. Now, the S5's camera is really one of its standout features. It has something called Phase Detect Autofocus. Now, that's a feature that you don't find on a smartphone. It is the first smartphone with this feature. Usually you'll find that on a DSLR or a high-end compact camera. Now, what that basically does is give you really fast autofocus. If you compare this to the S4, which took about a second to focus, the S5 takes only 0.3 seconds. Another feature is the live HDR mode. Now, this is the HDR mode. I've turned it off and then on again. Now, when you're on live HDR mode, usually you'd have to take the picture first to see what it would look like. But in live HDR mode, what you're seeing now is our HDR images. You can do that the same way if, for example, you had the video camera turned on. You get a live HDR preview as well. One of the examples would be in its available modes. Usually there would be tons of different modes for you to choose from. Now there are only a few. You have auto, beauty face, panorama, and the dual camera mode, which Samsung introduced with the S4. Then there's one more option over here called download. Now what this basically means is that Samsung didn't preload a lot of all of its different modes. Some you can download for free depending on if those are modes that you want to use, like surround shot camera mode or sound and shot mode. And right now there are no paid modes available, but it does signify that they will be introducing paid camera modes in the future. It'd be interesting to see what third-party app developers would also do to be able to customize the camera on the S5. Great. Now, if you take a look on the left-hand side, you have 4 different options here. You have the button to switch the camera from the 2-megapixel front-facing camera, or right now we're using the 16-megapixel main camera. Then you have another feature called selective focus. you have here the HDR on and off mode, and you have here the settings option. If you dive into settings, there are a whole range of options. One thing that I want to point out is photo size. If you go ahead and pick that right now, you can see that we are shooting 16 megapixel images in a 16 by 9 orientation. The other thing I wanted to show you is the video size. Now, you can shoot videos from VGA HD quality all the way up to UHD, which basically means the S5, like the Note 3, can shoot 4K video. Now, the last feature I wanted to show you is called selective focus mode, or focus select mode. If you click over here, you can turn that off, but you can also turn it on, and as you can see by the instructions, it will allow you to select objects that you want to be in focus. Now, you have to be about 70 centimeters away from your subject, and since Danbo is rather close, let me go ahead and just show you a photo that I took earlier using this mode. Now, as you can see, photos in your gallery shot using that mode will have that focus select icon over there. Now, when you click that, it will bring out 3 different options. So you can choose between front focus right now, which is focused on our subject, Danbo, and you can switch to rear focus. Now, if I click on that, Danbo, our subject will actually be blurred, and you can see that the focus will be on the background, the orange tablecloth. And then you have pan focus, which basically combines the 2 different focus points, and you have a photo with the foreground and the background both in focus with very little depth of field. Of course, I'm more inclined to pick the front focus to create that creamy bokeh effect. But that's a really interesting new feature on the S5. The only thing that's missing from the old interface is that you used to have a bar on top that would allow you to select frequently accessed settings. Now you'd have to go into settings, for example, and select your ISO and switch, for example, to an ISO 100 shot. Let me turn that back to auto. Or, for example, you wanted to turn your flash on and off, you'd have to do it this way and not via a shortcut on top of the screen. As we scroll through the settings menu, there's one more feature that I'd like to talk about. It's called safety assistance mode. Now let's go in. And it's actually perfect for, especially now that there are a lot of calamities taking place. There are 4 different modes that I want to talk about. First is you manage emergency contacts. That's pretty straightforward. You can pick contacts to dial in case of emergency. But 3 different features that I want to detail. First is send help messages. Now, if you turn it on, which we have on, if you press the power key quickly 3 times. For example, you're stuck under rubble during an earthquake. It will automatically send photos or a sound recording to the people that you've specified under emergency contact. So that's really, really helpful. You'll have to, of course, have your smartphone in hand and be able to reach your home button. Another power on and off button, sorry. Another feature is called Geo Lookout. Now this one ties in with a service provider, and it provides you with notifications or alerts in case there are natural disasters or extreme weather conditions in your vicinity. So you'll have to have, of course, your location data turned on, and this will basically be communicating with that service provider to be able to provide those different alerts to you. The last mode is called emergency mode. Now basically, say you got lost, you're stuck in the woods, and you don't know how long you'll be lost, and you want to really conserve your battery, but still access your phone's most important features of your phone. You can turn this on. It will change the display to a black and white theme to reduce battery consumption. You still will be able to use messages and contacts and make emergency calls, and supposedly on a full charge your battery will last up to 15 days or just slightly over 2 weeks on a single charge. And let me show you how that works right now. Let me turn that on. Of course, it's going to give you a reminder of what it will be doing. And I go ahead and click OK. And as you can see, it's now almost restarting, and it's enabling emergency mode. As you can see, it's turned the display to a black and white phone. I have like a retro phone going on over here. Torch mode basically turns on the LED light on your flash turn that into a flashlight. You have emergency alarm. You have the share my location feature, which basically sends a message to someone on your phone book, and you can attach your location using Google Maps. You can still access your phone and dial a contact. And then I can go back and use the internet as well. Right now it's telling me that I have 34% or about 11 hours left, but that's because I have really very little battery life left on my S5. Now, to be able to switch back out, maybe someone found you, you're okay, you can disable emergency mode, and just with a click of a button, give it a second or so, and it will switch back to the normal operating mode. Let's quickly look over the new TouchWiz user interface. If you'll notice, not a lot has changed. It looks pretty much like standard TouchWiz, except for a few aesthetic improvements here and there. In keeping with the new flat design trend, a lot of icons are flatter. The fonts are also thinner. If you take a look at the drop-down notifications shade, you'll have the thinner fonts over here, circles, and just very simple-looking icons over there. And if you go into the settings menu, similar to the magazine UX on Samsung's line of Pro tablets, you have these colorful circles with icons in them. It's a prettier settings menu. The Samsung Galaxy S5 runs off the latest version of Android 4.4.2 KitKat. The Samsung Galaxy S5 comes with a larger 5.1-inch Full HD Super AMOLED display. That's about 0.2 of an inch larger than its predecessor, the Galaxy S4, and it's perfect for watching videos like TechRap. The S5 actually comes with an app called Kids Mode. It's not installed at the moment, but basically what this device does, it creates just a fun and safe environment for if you have, say, a kid in the house who wanted to play with your smartphone. The display on the S5 actually looks a little bit less saturated, a little bit normal than what we're used to with a Samsung phone. This is Temple Run 2, and we just wanted to basically give it a try and take a look at how the system performs. Of course, it really does feel snappy, not laggish at all, and colors are nice and great. The images are also crisp. The S5 comes with a full HD display. It's very similar to the display on the S4, but it's slightly larger at 5.1 inches. And that was a quick look at the software features of the brand new Samsung Galaxy S5. The S5 has an IP67 rating, meaning it is water resistant. It is also dust proof. It comes with a 2,800 milliampere battery and should be available in April of this year.